All right, let's get this message up. Nice and steady, unfiltered. Minds, podcast. Good afternoon, folks. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are having a blessed day. It is Tuesday. As y'all know, it's 12:56. I am on my way to work. Left out a little bit late. Actually, left out on time, but I had to stop to get some food. So, run a little bit late, but I'll still get to work on time. Hope y'all all are having a blessed day. I know y'all probably have already eaten lunch or gone to lunch and all that other good stuff. Of course, I'm eating lunch or / dinner around about 6:30, 7 o'clock this evening. But, that is what it is. Unfiltered Mind podcast here. Going to discuss, it's Tuesday. I'm not going to do, I guess you can call it tech, but I guess it's more or less about car stuff today. As y'all know, I'm not, as I said, I know I posted it, but I'm not posted often, but I do have, last year I had to buy a new vehicle. I bought a 2021 Dodge Durango GT. Prior to that, I had a 2005 Chevy Tahoe Z71. When the Z71s came out, that was my dream car. I loved it, always wanted one. When I got it, I was happy. When I had to get rid of it, I was highly upset because, of course, it was paid off. But I had a oil pressure issue where, when I idle, my oil pressure would drop, and we couldn't figure out what the issue was. And of course, I had it for a time period, and it was almost. Matter of fact, it was 20 when I got rid of it. It was 20 years old. So my mechanic said, "Yeah, it's time to go ahead and get something new." So I went ahead and did it. So when I was getting for the new vehicle, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to get. I was looking at Tahoes again, of course, and the Tahoe that I did see was a 2018. But it was rear-wheel drive. Never had a car that was rear-wheel drive. All my vehicles have been all-wheel drive. Well, my Mountaineer was all-wheel drive. My Tahoe, of course, that had a selecting thing, so I can select it and all that other good stuff. So this being rear-wheel drive, of course, I know it's going to be a lot different, even coming to snow and stuff like that. But of course, it's heavier. So, but I saw that, and I also saw a 2018 Dodge Durango. I think it was an RT, and it was a blacktop edition. So when I got to the dealership, the Tahoe, someone was actually looking at the Tahoe, and I think they were test driving as well too. So of course, that went out the window. Then I told them I was going to get the Durango. So when they brought the Durango out for me to look at it, there were some problems with it. Not say problems, but it was just some things that I didn't really like cosmetic-wise. That was wrong with it. First thing being, there's a back panel that sits behind the driver's seat. That whole entire back panel was missing. They said, of course, it's in the garage or something like that. That's not an issue. It's like, okay, it should have been on the car in the first place. Next issue was the track light. So, if anyone knows, with the Durango, the track light in the back, it's notorious for basically getting water intrusion. And when the water gets, inside of it, the LEDs that are in there, they start going out. And it's not where you can just fix one, you got to buy a whole new track light. So the track light had cracks in it. I think it was like 2 that I physically saw. So they was like, oh yeah, we can just order that. But I'm like, again, I guess it makes sense for them to order something like that once they have a potential buyer for it, but it's no guarantee how long they was going to take with the order, because of course with Dodge it was on back order for however long. So I don't know when I was going to get it from Dodge, or basically get it from the dealership and have them fix it. Needless to say, they had 2 other Durangos. Looked at both of them. It was this one I have here, and there was another one. I can't remember the trim line of that one, but I do know that the screen in that one was a lot smaller than the one I have now. I think the one I have now is the Uconnect with the 8.4 inch screen. It's funny, after I seen the The 10.2 inch screen, of course, I wanted that one, but I realized that there's a lot of issues with that screen, with the Uconnect box and stuff like that. So somewhat happy I got the one that I got. I haven't had any issues with this stereo, so good to go. But this vlog here is more or less of the fact of where, you know, when you want to do things and upgrade your vehicles and stuff like that, you know, you don't have to really do it all at once. And, you know, take your time to do it, you know, do it piece by piece. I mean, unless you have the means to do it all at once. If not, don't go broke trying to do everything all at once. It's not that serious. So, you know, with getting the Durango, I didn't know all about the trim lines. You know, there's a SXT, there's a GT, GT Plus, and it goes to the RT Plus. Then you have the Citadel, and of course you have the SRT. And then also with those models, they have what's called a blacktop edition, to where it has the black rims, and I think some of the badges are blacked out as well too. And it also has the performance hood. So, of course, you know, after I got my GT, I found out about all of this. I'm like, okay, I can always just upgrade later on. So, looked about the rims, like most people are selling the black Dodge Durango rims, they want like anywhere between 15 and up for these rims. And I'm just like, these are factory rims. Why do I want so much for these rims? That's neither here nor there. You know, people can select however, you know, price them at however they want. It's just more or less of either you buy them or, you know, go from there. So, but I'm going to most likely get mine's powder coated.
Target acquired. Let's show those.
And do it that way. It just makes more sense. Because the rims I have now, there's nothing wrong with them. So I'm just getting powder coated. I found a company who actually will come to me and do that. So I'm going to do it that route. And be done with it. So I'll have my black rims. And with the badgings, I got overlays. So I'll do that probably when the weather somewhat cools down, because it's too hot outside now. So I don't like the heat. So I'll do the overlays. I have overlays for the Durango logo that's in the thing is the Dodge logo that's in the track light, and then of course it's a Durango logo in the track light, and there's a Dodge logo on the tailgate, also the four-wheel drive logo, and then also the GT logo. So I have overlays for all of those. So I'm going to do all of those, get those replaced in black. So did do that. I found out, you know, after the fact that you can also get a plastic dip as well too. So if the overlays I have don't do how I wanted to do, then I'll just do plastic dip and be done with it that way. Because when I had my Tahoe, I did plastic dip on that, and I did the bow tie plastic. I plastic dip my bow tie black, and it came out well. It worked. So push come and shove, I'll do it that route. I've watched a couple of videos and it demonstrate them how to properly do it and stuff like that. So it's not that hard. It's just more or less just time consuming. That's the biggest thing. A lot of this stuff with vehicles is just time consuming. Ouch. So needless to say, that's it. I'm gonna do that. So of course, you know, the RT of course has the nice little the exhaust system and stuff like that. The GT is the 3.6. The RT is the 5.7. Of course, the SRT is, I think, the 6.2 or 6.4, one of the two. And that's in that. And so, of course, they have that ground to it. So, basically, you know, I basically went out, got my exhaust done, and basically deleted my mid-muffler, rear resonator, and added 5-inch tips. Where my rear resonator were, I added Flowmaster Super 10s. Did it that way. Good to go. Happy with it. Love the sound it has a growl when I start it up. Even when I'm driving, it's loud. I like it. So my next step was getting a performance hood. And of course, the performance hood, them things are expensive. You can find aftermarket versions and stuff like that, but of course, the actual Dodge performance hood, it's an arm and a leg. I think the cheapest I've seen one was like $6 something. And of course you have to pay for shipping, so like $7 something. But normally those performance hoods, they go from anywhere from $900 to $1,000 brand new. So one, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, of course, because I'm looking for rims first and foremost. Because of course I want the black rims. I found a couple people that were selling them, but of course I'm not sure what happened, but I didn't get them. So what ended up happening was I'm on Facebook Marketplace scrolling, and what do I see? Someone selling a Dodge Durango performance hood. It's from the Hemi Orange edition. So it's this. The color of it was Destroyer Gray, and it had the black and orange race stripes already on it. My Durango is not Destroyer Gray, even though I do love that color. My color is Billet Silver. It's close to Destroyer Gray, but of course it's not the same. So in that, basically, what I had, I more or less say, okay, I gotta get it painted. Reached out to the guy. He's in Catonsville, Maryland. Reached out to the guy, we were communicating. Basically, I wanted to ask him, questions about it. He said there was like a small dent in the front of it, which was visible in the pictures. So it's not as though I didn't know about it. So it's just one of those things where, but whatever body shop I go to get it painted at, get that fixed, get it painted, we're good to go. So I met up with him. So of course, this is my first transaction on Facebook Marketplace. Lately, at least in this area, in the DMV area, they've been a lot of people who are doing the Facebook Marketplace meetups, but they were going sideways, where people were getting robbed. I think it was one instance where someone actually got killed. So when hearing that, it's just like a little bit leery. So it was one of those things where I'm like, do I really want to do this? I'm like, you really can't beat that price. The price of this hood is amazing. There's just like, So my plan was I was going to go ahead and do it. I was, I'm licensed to carry and conceal. So my plan was to bring my firearm with me, just in case something were to happen. But my dad, he actually came with me. I still brought my firearm just in case, because my dad is 82 years old. So not really too much my dad can do. Love him to death, but yeah, again, he's 82 years old. So I still brought my firearm. So he basically came with me just for the ride. Cool, no problem. Got up there. The gentleman was actually in his backyard getting ready for his 16-year-old birthday party. They have a pool and all that other stuff, so he was getting that stuff straight. So the minute I pulled up, he basically come out the backyard, met me in the front, we shook hands. He brought me to it, looked at it. This thing was, as I said, beside the dent in the front, a small dent in the front, and like paint chips, but of course with the paint chips, once you get it repainted, it was going to correct that anyway. And it's just more or less that was it. So, he was actually willing to go down in price. So he went down to $350. He originally wanted $400 for it, which is still not a bad price. But of course, always got to ask if you're willing to go down and see what they say. It's either yes or no. No, fine, because I'm still getting one for $400. Granted, I have to get it painted, whatever, but still, I don't have to rush and do that immediately. I have the hood that I want. So with that, I was like, gave him the money. It was $350. Picked the hood up. I didn't realize the hood was so damn light. It's made out of aluminum. When I say this hood is light as hell. It has no weight whatsoever to it. So I'm guessing the one I have on my truck now is the same exact way. Never realized they were so light. So basically, I have my performance hood now. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm gonna get it. Called two shops. There's a shop that did work on my truck. A little bit after I got it, my neighbor ran into the back of it, so I had to get that fixed. So I'm going to call that shop and find out how much they'll charge to do the work. And there's also where I work as a security guard whose family, he has a body shop as well too. So I'm going to, reach out to both of them and find out what their cost is to get this work done. And then, once I'm ready, go get it done. Like I said, I don't have the rush to get it done. The main part is already done. I got the hood. So basically, that is that. And then basically, like I said, get my rims. And all in all, then, I'll basically have the Durangos that I want. Because I love my truck. Like I said, I have no issues with it. Like when I got it, I've done regular maintenance. A little bit after I got it, my mechanic, I forgot what issue I was having. Oh, basically what it was when I was driving, not at high speeds, but low speeds, my acceleration would just drop. We didn't know what the issue was. My mechanic was like, fine, no problem. basically, you know, let me check your transmission fluid and see what is what. He did that, and my transmission fluid was black as hell. It's supposed to be like a fluorescent pink. It was black as hell. So my truck, when I got the truck, it was like 106,000 miles on the vehicle. So it's very possible that the transmission fluid was never done since the vehicle was since the original fluid that was in there. I don't know. But my mechanic was like, okay, cool. What we'll do is we'll basically change the fluid. And he recommended me do it twice before the year was out. Cool, no problem. Got that done. And then we also basically did my spark plugs as well too. He said to do the spark plugs. And with him changing the spark plugs, he realized that I think 3 of them were basically burnt out. So it was needed to get done. So it was needed. So got that done, got the transmission fluid done twice. These people drive horribly. And then of course, like I said, regular maintenance. Get my oil change every 3 to 5,000 miles. Like I'm gonna somebody get it done again, either this weekend or Monday. And like I said, the truck has been fine. I had no issues with the truck. It drives smooth. Like I said, it's a V6. My first 2 vehicles were V8s. So of course, they guzzle gas, understandable. But of course, you know, now I drive to work every day downtown DC, so I deal with the traffic a little bit and stuff like that. But with this, it's a V6. I don't really burn that much gas. I'm happy with it. So, like I said, it's a 3.6 Pentastar. And of course, with the Pentastars, as long as you do the upkeep, the vehicle will last you no issues whatsoever. So that is my plan. Do my upkeep. Like I said, I did it with my other vehicles. I did it with my Tahoe, and I did it with my Mountaineer. Mountaineer basically literally had no major issues. I think the biggest issue I had with my Mountaineer was I had to do my right side suspension. I had to get redone. And then also my AC had to get fixed. Other than that, the Mountaineer was just regular maintenance. And that was it. So, but yeah, other than that, that was it. So I was happy. I had no issues. Everything was straight. So all in all, like I said, take your time. You don't have to rush to do all this stuff to your vehicle. You know, the 3.6 get a lot of hate in the Mopar community, but I'm not trying to impress anybody. I get my truck is for me. It's what I wanted. I'm happy with it. I basically hook it up to what I want. No issue. We keep on moving. Like I said, I have a good mechanic. Like I said, the body shop guys, like I said, find out how much they'll charge, go from there, get my hood on. I got to get the replacement scoops because it didn't have the scoops that are inside of it, the mesh grills that are inside of it, and then of course the plastic that goes under those that prevents the water from going inside of the engine. Because I also plan on doing a cold air intake as well too. So I want to make sure that those plastics at the bottom, so it's going to prevent the water from going inside the cold air intake unless I decide to do a AFE cold air intake, which has the covering over it, and you won't have to worry about that at all. But I was told with the guy that did my exhaust to go with K&N. So K&N, those don't have the covering. So of course I would have to make sure that water is not getting inside the cold air intake, of course, because that would mess it up and get inside the engine, all the other stuff. We don't need that. So I'm in a search now. I think I found the grill inserts, the scoop inserts. I just can't find the plastic part that goes underneath of those. So I gotta either do some more research and find out what they're called. I found some, but they don't really, they don't basically cover the whole entire thing. So I gotta figure out exactly if it's a different name or what it's called exactly, so I can get the proper one, and so I don't have no issues and no worries come, like I said, when I get rain or get it washed or whatever have you made, and then we'll be good to go. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I'm happy with the truck. It's doing me well. Yeah, like I said, I got the exhaust and all that stuff done. And I'll get my rims done as well too later on, probably this year. Do the cold air intake. I'm thinking about doing my side markers, changing those to a white bright LED. I've seen a couple people do those, and it looks really good. So that may be something I'm thinking about doing later on this year as well too. Like, of course, when it gets warm, the weather changes, so I can just pop it in my garage and do it in the garage. Oh, God, they got the road blocked. One thing I can definitely say about being in DC, I don't like, they close roads down here a lot, randomly. Like, you're trying to understand, I'm like, why y'all closing roads down, randomly closing roads down, for what reason? So the way I would normally go on 17th Street, it's closed. Once you're back Constitution Avenue, it's closed. Don't know why, but there's a cop right there, so it's closed. Come on, the hell? So, I'm still be on time for work, but it's just annoying when you come out and roads are just randomly closed for no reason. And then you got people just parked in all types of weird spots. Come on, people. So, yeah. But that's the joyous things that I deal with in DC. But back to the car. So, yeah, so it's just one of those things where now it's just like I gotta just, get certain things done. But like I said, the biggest things are done. It's just the rims and the hood. My cold air intake, I'm gonna do that myself in the garage. Same with the my emblems, I'm gonna do all that myself. I don't have to pay anybody to do that because I've done the cold air intake. There's plenty of videos online about how to do cold air intakes. What the hell is going on back here? Jesus. Yeah, so there's plenty of videos online that shows how to put them in. So I plan on doing that, and then I'll be good to go. So yeah, I don't know what's going on down here. It's just a lot of traffic for no reason. So hopefully there's no issue with me getting into my courtyard to park. But yeah, so we'll see how all that plays out. Like I said, I may document most of that when I'm doing it, stuff like that, so y'all can see and go from there. Like I said, I'm basically almost at work. I enjoyed doing this vlog. It's talking about the vehicle, stuff like that. But like I said, it's just the moral of this, this is just like when you get your vehicle, you don't have to do everything all at once. You can take your time, no need to rush it. And like I said, people will knock and stuff like that or whatever, knock what you do, because it's not what they like. But again, at the end of the day, it's your vehicle. You're paying the note, or you paid the car, whatever it may be, it's your vehicle. So do as you want or as you would like to your vehicle. So like I said, the hate is definitely there for the 3.6 Pentastar, but I don't care. Like I said, you're not paying my note, you're not paying my insurance. And so you're doing that, you can talk. If you're not doing that, nothing you can say to me that's going to change my mind. Like I said, it's my vehicle, and I'm happy with it. I don't use my vehicle to race. I don't drive. I drive fast when I need to, but I'm not racing anybody. I'm going to work, I'm going home, I go to church, I go here and there. That's about it. I'm not trying to, sit there and fly down the highway going 190 miles an hour. I'm not doing all of that. I'm 47 years old. All of that is just not necessary at all. So, but yeah. But all in all, to say, like I said, take your time. I don't know what is going on up here. Looks like there's a lot of traffic. Something's going on up here because it looks like we're not moving. And of course, my job is like the next block up. Hopefully, this is not like a standstill type thing. But we will see. I guess I'll probably turn y'all around and y'all can see what's going on. Well, really nothing to see because of course I'm parked behind a white truck. Not parked, but I'm stopped behind a white truck. So I don't know how long I'm about to be sitting here because of course but But again, like I said, they were able to randomly close down streets for no reason in DC. It's ridiculous. So I don't know if that's what's going on. But so yeah, like I said, the GPS hasn't said nothing about anything being closed. So I do not know. But yeah, y'all have a good one. I guess I'll be sitting here for a little bit until they decide to let us go, or whatever's going on up there, we can go. So, Unfiltered Mind Podcast, we are out. Have a great one.